Hello, lovelies. This is the Cozy Canadian Book Nook, and I am Caitlin. And this video was actually supposed to be two parts for January and February, but I'm combining them because I haven't actually read too many books. I've been very sick over January and February. If you aren't aware, I have compiled a list of 46 book prompts in which I want to read this year, and I will have them linked right here. They're in my Tumblr, and I have read 3 off the list so far. The first one I actually completed on New Year's Day at 1 o'clock in the morning. I know, I'm a party animal. And that was Red, White, and Royal Blue. And it... Sabrina... So that book was Red, White, and Royal Blue. It was a fantastic book. It was a love story between the son of a fictional female US president and Prince Henry of Wales. It was a bit weird going into because it's a fictional love story with an actual person, which I don't think Prince Harry gave his permission for this book to be written. I don't know, I didn't read into it, but I did really like it. It's basically about the president's son and Prince Harry not getting along, but they're forced to, for public opinion, just to say that, hey, listen, the US and England are getting along great. And then it develops into a love story, and then it gets harder as their relationship goes on, and the US presidential election is coming up. This one was a duo. It covered a prompt on my list for a book covered with my favorite color, pink. And it crossed off one of my LGBTQ+ bingo cards for Enemies Turn to Lovers. The next book I went into blind. It was Left Behind, and I didn't actually know there was more than one book, and it was also a book made into, I want to say, a movie, or it might have been like a TV series. And it had 2 protagonists that gave it 2 really good, like, different points of what might be going on, kind of like a mystery. I am going to put in here that I am going to give a spoiler for the book as to why I actually put it as a DNR. And if you don't want a spoiler, just click here, just skip the review for this one. I'll just give you a minute as my cat meows in the background. This is what I have to deal with. So the premise of the book is that you start off characters on a plane, and suddenly, mysteriously, passengers of the plane just disappear in thin air. So the plane lands, and you quickly find out that it's not just on the plane, it is a global thing where all these people have just disappeared and no one knows what's happening, no one knows what's going on, and you follow these 2 protagonists who have very different views of what might be going on. And one thinks that there might be something government involved, like maybe they know what's going on, or maybe they even caused what's going on. And the other has a growing interest in religion, as his wife was religious, and she started saying about maybe like Jesus coming back to get his children, like a whole religious aspect of it, and you kind of equally go from each side. The reason I put this as a DNR is because around halfway through the book, it became very apparent that this book was a religious book and seemed to tell like the rapture of God coming back for his children, bringing them up to heaven, and everyone left on earth was basically in hell or a purgatory. And like, the book wasn't terribly written. It just wasn't for me. I am not very big on religion. I have a lot of bad feelings towards religion. So unfortunately for me, the book ended up being, I gave it a 0.5 out of 5, just because it wasn't like, I very rarely give a book 0 out of 5, even if it is a DNR, because it might be for someone, and it wasn't a terrible read from what I read of it. I was actually pretty interested in it up until halfway, when it seemed like, oh, one side is right and it's not the side that I wanted to be right. So that one was actually for a prompt of a book with stars and moons on the cover. So the last book that I read was part 1 of a series of The Wheel of Time. It's called The Eye of Time. It's a amazing book. One of my friends got it for Christmas, got the whole first collection, and he was raving about it, said it's such a good read. So we decided to start reading it together. It's a very large book in a large series, so I don't really know how to summarize it. It's a fantasy book, kind of gives you the vibes of like Lord of the Rings. It was such a good read. I've already got part 2 purchased. I just have it kind of shelved because March is going to be a heavy month, and obviously been really sick, so didn't read a lot of books through the first 2 months. That book I gave a 3.5 out of 5. So that was my review for January and February. Hopefully I won't hit any snags and you'll get March and further months promptly and not combined months later. I do have a video coming up for March, for a March readathon that Jacqueline has announced, and I will link that here if you'd like to see it. March 21st to March 27th. There is going to be a readathon, explained more in this video, and I will be doing daily live streams on my YouTube channel from 1 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time every day throughout that week. See you soon!